Hi everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. I'm here for Flip Through Friday today with my latest journal that I just completed. This is Epossumundas, and it is based on the book of the same name by Colleen Sally, and it's an absolutely wonderful story that I really fell in love with, and I just had to make one of these storytelling journals with it because it's just such a great story. So Epossumundas is this little opossum who has a diaper, and he is, I guess, the pet of this southern lady that he calls Mama, and it's a really adorable story. So I'll do a read through with you. So these kind of journals that I make, I don't always keep the pages in the exact order. I don't always include all of them, but I do what I can to tell the whole story as much as possible, as well as make it work in the journal. So it can be a little tricky. This one was trickier than normal because there were pages that just had to stay together. You'll see what I mean. But I'm really happy with how it came out. It was challenging, but it was a good challenge. So first I took this image of Epossumundas from the book and I embossed it, so it's got a nice hard plasticky feel to it. I kept it low profile and put it on this vintage book that was about astronomy, I believe, and added a brass journal label here. Then I've added some fun fabric here, a little bit more fraying to go. I tried to fray all of it, but there we go. It is a little petite floral, which is a part of the story throughout the book. You'll see that the women in this book have these muumuu type gowns on with these little petite type florals, and I just really liked this one for the spine. So it is actually stitched on, and I've got a gold eyelet here holding on to the spine dangle, which has all sorts of things in it that are relevant to the plot. So I will do the flip through first, then I'll talk to you about what's on the spine and why. So it's the back of the book. It is closed up with some vintage ribbed binding, and this journal has 6 signatures and 170 pages. There are themes of obviously the opossum, some other wildlife creatures that he meets along his way, baking, bread, butter, grandmothers. Yeah, you'll see. So the end papers are the original end papers from the book with these pies. And then the front pocket is fabric with another petite floral collection. That Epossumundas, what will he bring home next? And there's a little opossum there. I did design some images for this book because I just needed a few more opossums. I found some in a vintage book that I had, but I needed a few more, so I spent some time illustrating some. So here are a couple. This is just a little journal space here, and so I just added those, which I designed. And this is a vintage Robin Hood flour mill bread baking cover, which was actually gifted to me as part of some things from Nancy from Wishes and Weeds. So you'll see there's fabric here that binds on the inside of the book, and we open to this adorable image of Epossumundas, and I've stitched some lace along the side. It's a crochet lace. This is a 49 Market paper kit that you'll see. There's a few different kinds of scrapbook paper throughout this, and it actually gave me an opportunity to use what I almost never use, which are these bright and airy kind of sayings that you often see as part of scrapbook paper kits. So they're not usually my thing, but coming out of the mouth of Epossumundas and his naive way of going through the world, they make sense in this book for me. So this one says, always take time to stop to smell the flowers. And it's like a double belly band. And this is a tag from that I made from a digital kit from the Paper Cameo on Etsy. This is, whenever you see papers like this that have been dyed, those are my hand-dyed papers, so I don't say it each time. This is an alligator and a mention of an armadillo from the book Animalia, so it's another children's book. This is a pie from the book, and it's a tuck spot for a little card that I designed there. Another little opossum. Some sprayed paper with this lovely ruffle that I believe was made by Mary Ellen of Red Parrot, the Red Parrot channel. Sorry, it took me a moment there. A little pocket here. Now this floral is actually from the Moo dress that Mama's wearing, and this is from an Eric Carle Hungry Caterpillar scrapbook, and then this says Create Your Own Sunshine, and that's from another scrapbook. So now I will get started on the story. I'll try to keep my other reading a little minimal so that you don't lose track. Epossumundas used to go see his auntie most every day, and she nearly always gave him something to take home with him. That's his mama. One day she gave him a piece of rich gold cake. Epossumundas took it in his hand, scrunched his hand up tight, and went along home. So these both tip out. On his way home, he passed Alligator, and Alligator asked, "What you got, Epossumundas?" "Cake," he replied. Don't look much like cake to me," said Alligator. When Epossumundas got home, his mama looked at that fistful of crumbs, and she said, "Epossumundas, what do you have in your hand?" "Cake, Mama. Auntie gave it to me." Epossumundas was his mama's and his auntie's sweet little patootie. They just loved him to death. Here we have this. "Oh, Epossumundas, you don't have the sense you were born with. That's no way to carry cake. The way to carry cake is to put the cake on your head, put a hat on your head, and come along home. Do you hear me, Epossumundas?" "Yes, ma'am." And this is a little container of butter, and this is a little purple lamp from the book on some Franken paper that I made with florals. And then we have a journal card here with Mama. By and by, on another day, when Epossumundas was visiting his auntie, this time she gave him a pound of freshly churned butter to take home with him. Epossumundas put it on his head, put a hat on his head, and went along home. On his way home, he passed Raccoon, and Raccoon asked, "What you got, Epossumundas?" "Butter," he replied. Don't look much like butter to me," said Raccoon. When Epossumundas got home, his mama looked at him, and she said, "Epossumundas, what do you have in that hat?" "Butter, Mama. Auntie gave it to me." "Oh, Epossumundas, you don't have the sense you were born with. That's no way to carry butter. The way to carry butter is to wrap it up in some leaves and carry it down to the brook, and you cool it in the water, and you cool it in the water, and you cool it in the water, and then you take it up carefully in your hands and come along home. Do you hear me, Epossumundas?" "Yes, Mama." By and by, on another day, when Epossumundas was visiting his auntie, this time she gave him a sweet little puppy dog to take home with him. So Epossumundas wrapped it up in some leaves and carried it down to the brook. So here was a place where the book had a tear in it, and I had to repair it. I did so with some clear tape. You'll see that this is probably the most complex part of the journal, where I've had to attach two large pages together. But it worked. Like, I have no complaints. I don't feel like anything is delicate. This just flips up, flips in, flips in, flips in again, and then I'll show you, this is what the other side looks like. So here we have Mama holding on to her hat. And then we have him here with the dog, and he cooled it in the water, and he cooled it in the water, and he cooled it in the water. Poor puppy. And we have a nutria here. Don't look much like a puppy to me, said nutria. I was thinking that was a nice little scene for where Epossumundas might be wandering. A magical scene. And we have this. This is Epossumundas here. And then we have Mama just, you know, trying to deal with Epossumundas and his adventures, and a little pie from the book. There he is holding the puppy with the leaves all over it. Oh, Epossumundas, Epossumundas, you don't have the sense you were born with. That's no way to carry a puppy. The way to carry a puppy is to put the puppy on the ground, tie a piece of string around the puppy dog's neck, and take the piece of string and come along home. Do you hear me, Epossumundas? Yes, Mama. So here we have Mama holding Epossumundas. And this is from a vintage book. It's an image of this lady in her kitchen, and I felt like that could be the auntie. You know, always she's got a butter or a coffee grinder in her hand, so she's, you know, maybe grinding up some coffee to give to Epossumundas. These are Japanese illustration children's books. I've just done some fun little patchy stitching down the side with lace and fabrics. This is a little tuck spot. Another theme to me in this book are the lovely hats that Mama and Auntie wear. So this was from a hat book of seaside hats, and I just thought that could be the two of them at the seaside. Another image I designed for this book, and then it has this little hello, I do what I want. And I thought that was extraordinarily appropriate for Epossumundas. And another pie, and another tag with florals here from the paper cameo. More stitched fabric. Florals. Do something kind today, and that's just more writing space. And this is on a vintage Sears Robot catalog book page with hats. This is a pocket made from the book with the same, that floral fabric from Mama's dress. And then on this side, I've just stapled on this little scrap of a baby jacket with embroidery, and I felt like that could be something that Mama might dress Epossumundas up in. Well, by and by, on another day, when Epossumundas was visiting his auntie, this time she gave him a freshly baked loaf of bread to take home with him. On his way home, he passed Armadillo, and Armadillo asked, "What you got, Epossumundas?" "Bread," he replied. Don't look much like bread to me," said Armadillo. And that's a throwback to the armadillo that we saw at the beginning of the book. That's why that was there. Epossumundas put the bread on the ground, tied a piece of string around it, took the other end of the string, and went along home. A floral pocket on the hat paper, and this is just some vintage wrapping paper that I thought could be nice, reminiscent of the meadow that he's wandering through, going back and forth between Auntie and Mama. A little altered paper clip with a butterfly, and another little piece of hat art. When Epossumundas got home, his Mama looked at the thing on the end of the string, and she said, "Epossumundas, what do you have on the end of that string?" "Bread, Mama. Auntie gave it to me." And these little cutouts are from a Richard Scarry book of bread, butter, a glass bottle of milk, and a toaster. This is from, there's a large set of 2 books I have that are about character sketches that are biblical, and they're compared to animals, and so the opossum was featured in there, and so that's where this image comes from. And this is a baby opossum, and this is like a double belly band on some more florals with some more florals stitched down the side. Another little opossum that I illustrated. It says, "Born under a lucky star." Belly band made from vintage baby wrap, gift wrap. And another image of opossums from that character sketchbook. And this says, "Typical way of opossum carrying their tail." They have a prehensile tail, and it shows their front and hind foot. journal card, and it's on some bread baking recipe paper from a vintage recipe book. Then we see the florals from Mama here in the background. This is a real vintage photo from the 1940s of two sisters. They're the Slack sisters. And I just felt like with the patterning of this dress and the fact that they're kind of laughing and talking to one another, that this could be Mama and Auntie. And then I designed this little opossum down here to be Epossumundas. And then this little journal card that I designed inside here. Oh, Epossumundas, Epossumundas, you don't have the sense you were born with. You never did have the sense you were born with. You never will have the sense you were born with. Now, I'm not telling you any more ways of bringing truck home, and I don't want you going to see your auntie either. I'll go see her myself. Vintage bread recipe page. This is a little card from Nathalie Lett, and I thought those could be like little forest animals that he encounters. And it's a tucked spot that has some inked paper art paper in it. And then this is a little opossum that I designed. It says, "In a beautiful garden of flowers." Oops, there's one of my little markers. I had to mark each of my signatures so I would tell the story properly here. And then some crochet lace on the side. And then this is a little tag from the paper cameo with the florals. The defense of the opossum. How does the opossum react to danger is unpredictable. It may choose to run, stand its ground, flash its teeth, and hiss, or most remarkable of all, play dead, from which the term playing possum originated. The animal lies on its side, mouth open, tongue protruding, and legs partially extended. The heartbeat as well as the respiratory system decrease to the point that movement cannot be detected. Increased salivation foams from the mouth. During this state, the opossum will not respond to rough treatment. Even touching the cornea of the eye does not arouse it. It is believed that the opossum is not acting, but is rather responding to stimulus which is triggered internally, a response that the animal is unable to control. Also, I just love opossums. We sometimes get them in my backyard, and they're always so great to see. This is a raccoon, also from that character sketches book. Just a little tuck spot there. They're also brilliant because they eat ticks. This is an envelope that I made from the character sketches book, and there's this lovely opossum. And then inside we have a little piece of stationery. This is from a vintage kitchen book, actually, and it's just a fun pattern, and I added a little possum that I designed for this book, and that's inside there. And we just clip this envelope on here with a rusty paper clip. And we continue along. This was a vintage book page of this old kitchen from Blueberries with Sal, and so it's all in blue ink. It's really nice. And Epossus's mama got her basket, but before she left, she said, "Epossumundas, do you see those 6 pies cooling there on the porch?" "Yes, Mama." "Well, Epossumundas, you be careful about stepping on those pies." Then Mama went off to see Auntie. And then Epossumundas was careful about stepping on those pies. He stepped right in the middle of every one. So then there's this storyteller's note, which I left in because I think Colleen Sally's so charming and she really explains this story well. Long before authors, books, and publishers existed, storytellers wove folk tales that enthralled groups of adults and any children who might be listening. In those days, storytelling was not limited to an audience of children as it is prevalent in modern times. The oral tradition was a way of communicating with an entire community. Folk tales have endured for many centuries because they entertain, stretch the imagination, evoke emotion, nurture a sense of humor, and pique curiosity about other cultures. They have attempted to explain nature, natural phenomena, and even the behavior of animals and humans. Similar tales appear again and again throughout the world, reinforcing the truth that people everywhere are more alike than different. And all of these ideas and themes are delivered in packages filled with action, heroes and heroines, lessons and satisfying endings, all the elements of a good story. Epossumundas is a type of tale called a noodlehead story. Mishaps occur but are not caused deliberately. The humor is gentle and silly. The plot may be highly improbable but not impossible. It could happen. Some outstanding noodlehead stories are about the wise Nasreddin Hoxha, Turkish, those amiable fools of Kelm, Jewish, Lazy Heinz, German, Foolish Jack, British, John Sott, Cajun, and Epossumundas, Southern United States. Sorry, I struggle with that. Throughout the ages, storytellers have embellished, adapted, deleted, and added to the tales they tell. The details change, but the heart of the story remains. We recognize old favorites in a new rendition. Thus, Epossumundas, a new name for a classic character, has moved from the human world into the world of animals. And if you think that little possum is just foolish, look closer. Maybe he's full of mischief, trying to get a rise out of his mama so he can escape all those errands. And another of those vintage kitchen pages. And we have this little rose pocket that has this alligator from the character sketches book, because recall, Epossumundas first encounters an alligator. And then the little floral pocket with one of my little possums that says in the maple forest. And back here we have this final belly band of Epossumundas that has this vintage cookbook cover journal card on it from Robin Hood Flour. And I just love this wooden spoon. And I thought it was really appropriate with all the baking and the pies and the bread and the baked goods. So that is the end of the book. Now let me tell you a little bit more about this. So I'll show you the spine, but also I cannot recommend highly enough to use an adult with childhood nostalgia like myself, or if you have children, to look for and read the entire series of Colleen Sally's Epossumundas stories. There are many of them. I believe she has about 5 of these books, these stories. Everyone is charming. I think my favorite one is Epossumundas Plays Possum. So here on the spine dangle, which is made from yellow waxed linen, there are these little tiny houses that I thought would represent, going between house to house with auntie and mama. I drilled through these, not an easy task. These little glass purple beads. I tried to include lots of elements of purple because all the furniture in mama's house was purple. Roses because, mama and auntie were those floral muumuus. This is a little loaf of bread. We have a couple pieces of pie here. What else? We have a little puppy here. Also drilled through dangerously by me. A basket, because, he carries things in a basket. Or no, mama carries things in the basket. And then just more little bits of purple. So that is the spine dangle. So it's worked into the storyline. So I hope you enjoyed this book. I have been wanting to make it for a while now. I originally came across this book at my library, and then I ended up purchasing the whole series through various sources online just so that I could have them in my library. And I got sent an extra copy of one of them by accident, so it gave me an opportunity to make a journal out of the story. I would never have thought I was going to, but I'm really happy that the opportunity popped up. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you like the story, and we'll talk again soon. If you're interested in this journal, I will be putting it up in my Etsy shop. So have a great day. Bye for now.